I'm Rick Guttridge, for those of you who don't know, Managing Director at Smoking Gun, and I've got the easy task today of just pressing the next button and introducing our industry expert, Carly Chell. So over to you, Carly.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Carly, the Senior Digital Account Director at Smoking Gun. I've worked in digital marketing for over 10 years, specialising in social media, paid, organic, as well as influencer marketing. I've worked on some of the UK's favourite brands, including Alton Towers, PG Tips, Chicago Town Pizzas, as well as for the retailer Wilko and many more. So today we're going to talk you through 5 key sections. So an introduction to TikTok, TikTok's role in comms, how to find your voice, working with TikTok creators, and how to drive sales via TikTok. So first off, an intro to TikTok. So now some of you will have experience of the platform and some of you may not. I'm going to give a concise overview of the platform and also its kind of unique features as well for a bit of a starter for 10. So TikTok operates differently to any other platform within the social media mix. Its algorithm presents users with content recommendations that are personalised for individual users, which is displayed on your For You page. And what you can see on your page will be totally different from what your friends may see. The TikTok algorithm is miles ahead of any other platform for this unique user experience. So if you watch or interact with a lot of cooking videos or accounts, your For You page will most likely include cooking related videos. As your viewing behaviour and preferences change while you use the app, so will your feed. Brand content on TikTok is also created using 3 key principles only: entertainment, education, and community. Entertainment value increases the likelihood of viewers will watch the video in its entirety, share it with others, and develop a positive attitude towards your brand. Education value provides useful information to potential customers about the product or service. And community value, this is content that focuses on social responsibility, charitable donations, or supports a social cause. TikTok uses a unique mixture of user-generated content, PGC content, and AI-generated content, sometimes seeing a blend of all 3, for example, user-generated content using AI features, or professional-generated content using Creator or AI. This real kind of diverse mix of formats prevents user fatigue and drives hours of consumption on the app. Brands are really winning on TikTok by pairing their value offering with their content variety, seeing endless creative possibilities. We also see a lower expectation for the production on the platform. So what you might think might look a little bit too kind of rubbish for Instagram would work on TikTok. Rough and ready is what TikTok fans are really kind of lapping up. So here are some unique features of TikTok. TikTok Live Studio lets you run live content via its inbuilt interface. You can invite fans to chat in real time, use interactive features, and build your own streaming view, which fans can interact with. Recent data shows that TikTok users are interested in engaging with all forms of live content from brands, including how-tos, tutorials, product releases, in-depth product reviews, or Q&As. TikTok also has its own live data library that allows you to access real-time data. So this can be on trending sounds, on trending hashtags, videos, or creators, as well as being able to dig into who is sharing and engaging with each of these different verticals. You can therefore make more informed decisions on whether a trend is right for your brand based on these insights. TikTok also has creative tools built into the platform, offering brands royalty-free music, effects, different textiles, editing software, as well as auto subs and templates, which you can essentially just upload video content to and it'll make a video for you automatically. TikTok also has a creator marketplace, allowing brands to research, source, brief, manage content, and view analytics all through its interface. And finally, TikTok Shop, which I would personally argue is the only kind of platform that has solidly nailed social commerce, but a little bit more on that later. We're now going to talk about how to actually create content for TikTok. Always think TikTok first. You have so many features to use on TikTok, and it recommends using a blend of its 7 hero features. So creating content with music, the faster the better. It's shown that faster music boosts neuro activity when watching video content, which again increases brand recall. You can also use movement within the asset, so catching the user's eye keeps the narrative moving, and it also increases watch time. You also have at your disposal on-screen text with visual guidance. So if someone is, watching at work or traveling, they've got that kind of nice visual there to guide them through the storytelling, as well as transitions, which the platform is famous for, emojis, as well as voiceovers. If you're creating TikTok first content, it doesn't all have to be created from scratch. Utilize creators as part of your armory, or adapt existing assets so that they're native to the platform. TikTok content is always best with sound on where possible. It can really transform that piece of content, and you've got a whole library there to use to hook your content in. When you're creating content as well, always focus on your hook. It's what is going to actually draw your audience in. What insights can you use to create and shape the content? You've got TikTok's trend library there to use. You've also can use things like Google Trends or social listening, really to dig into what your audience is actually interested in engaging with. When you're creating content, don't compromise your hook as well. Your brand reference is important in your content, of course, but don't compromise the hook by being too kind of overly branded. Be subtle. It should usually come in around after 3 seconds. Also, don't forget to be fresh and be consistent. TikTok rewards frequent posters. Your organic reach will drop off a cliff if you start to post sporadically. You're also not penalised for overposting on TikTok. So plan your content and make sure that you have a good combination of evergreen content and reactive ops. So a little bit more about trends. So how does TikTok categorize trends? It actually does this in 3 different ways. So firstly, it has moments. So these last days or weeks, they're typically rooted in human truth. So it might be content around funny parent truths or relatable content about your pets or funny things which happen at work. These moments are really fast paced and they come and go. TikTok also classes signals as a trend. These are kind of lasting around a few months or a year. That's that more kind of evergreen trend that are more platform led. So it might be kind of the story time feature that everyone uses on the app, or transitions or challenges. And then lastly, forces. This can be anything up to a decade, and these are macro cultural patterns or trends. For example, the body positivity movement, veganism, or the adoption of AR. So we've talked about kind of trends in general. So what I thought here would be a good example to kind of dig into a trending sound. So this is an example of the data that's actually available in the sounds library. It gives you a good steer of whether the trend is right for your brand. So we've looked at kind of the top 4 trending sounds here on TikTok from this week. No surprise, Barbie is number 2. So out of interest, I wanted to dig into who's actually engaging with the Barbie sound. So we're able to see the age range, we're able to see related interests of those who are engaging with it, and also the interest over time. So this type of data, if it's maybe something that the brand might deem as a little bit risky, can really help you get that internal buy-in. By looking at the data and saying, well, this aligns to who we're trying to target, and then going from there. So we're now going to move on to talk about TikTok's role in comms and how to find your voice. You should hopefully have a good steer on the expectations of the platform, how to use insights to inform your content, but how does this fit into the bigger picture? If you've used TikTok, you will know how addictive it is. I found myself looking and engaging with the most strangest things on there. My For You page is a very interesting place. So the reason why we're so hooked is because TikTok operates in an endless loop of joy, providing you with mini dopamine hits with customized content, pulling you in based on your interests. But how do brands fit into this loop? So brands are typically using TikTok videos to drive discovery and consideration, combining this with the use of creators and content generated by TikTok community to push recommendations in a way that's native to the platform, ultimately with the view of driving action, whether that's a purchase, a booking, or a call. If we were to kind of use this cycle and relate it to the travel sector as an example here, at the discovery stage, users are dreaming. They aren't sure where they want to go. They're seeking inspiration to discover a new place. Users are discovering content on their For You page from brands, showcasing holiday destinations with content that provides insight and visuals of the actual locations. At consideration stage, users are planning their trip. They are kind
Sorry about that. If we could just ask the participants just to be on mute, that'd be great. Thank you.
So they're kind of doing their research to find more information about their preferred destination or activities. Some 77% of TikTok users in Europe feel encouraged to research certain travel destinations after seeing them on the platform. The content they consider includes reviews, personal travel experiences, travel hacks, and more. It's a real great opportunity on there for brands to be pushing educational content. So, for example, it might be giving tips on traveling with kids in the particular locations or what attractions are in those locations. Around 69% said that travel content on TikTok encourages them to purchase a product or activity, and 68% said that TikTok helps them decide which to choose. At the review and participation phase, users or creators have arrived at their destination and are both enjoying and sharing their trip in real time. They're sharing their experience, and in turn, they're actually inspiring other users to keep that infinite loop running. So recent studies have also shown that consumers are also using TikTok as a search tool. Now, this is, relatively new stuff. It's come into play in the past kind of 4 or 5 months. So it means now that there's a role for TikTok in SEO. Brands can really capitalize on this by optimizing their content for Google and TikTok. TikTok content has recently started to appear in SERP, so search engine results pages on Google. Short form videos from TikTok are showing under the section on Google titled short videos, and videos are ranking for non-branded terms. So things like homemade pizza, rather than people searching branded terms like TikTok video on homemade pizza. So this is a great opportunity here to be optimizing your content. Google has commented recently saying that TikTok is eating into its search market share. Google has said that Gen Z, so 18 to 29 year olds, are using TikTok as a search engine as it saves them time. There's also been a shift on how Gen Zs are consuming content, with data from Ofcom suggesting that young teens are turning to TikTok to use it to consume news. So how do you take advantage of this recent shift? TikTok has expanded its post description from 300 characters to 2,200 characters. Open up the character limit means you can actually add more keywords into your post description. They've also created an autofill sequence when users are searching to make it easier for you to research what your consumers are actually interested in and make sure that you're answering that query with your content. So how do you find your voice and how do you get started? So we speak to brands all the time. They just haven't taken the leap onto the platform. It's mostly due to lack of manpower, or they're just not really sure how to start. So we recommend this approach. So understand the market. What are your competitors doing on the platform? What are other brands doing on the platform that are non-competitors? It's really important to have an understanding of actually what's going on there, else you're in danger of your content flopping. Do your research as well. TikTok is trend-led. Use the platform for personal use first if you can, and get a good indication of the weird and wonderful content that the community love. Also, define why you're on TikTok. Work on the whys for your content. Are you trying to drive acquisition, reach a younger audience? This should all be mapped out before you begin. Also, test and learn. Don't be scared to test and more. It's not always going to work the first time, and that's okay, but you're learning from that data and you continue to optimize as you go. So now we've kind of covered an intro to TikTok, how to create, what the role is in your channel mix and how to get started. We're now going to move on to working with creators. So really interestingly, TikTok has an integrated creator marketplace within its platform. You're able to create campaign briefs, search for creators, as well as add creators to a shortlist. You're also able to communicate and invite creators to join in with your campaign, as well as publish the content via the platform as well. Now, this is unique to TikTok, and no other platform has really kind of nailed this yet. But as you're kind of working with creators, there's a couple of do's and don'ts that you should also make sure that you're doing as well. So when you're choosing creators, make sure that you do the due diligence, that they align to your demographic that you're trying to target. Make sure that you're following ASA guidelines. Make sure you're marking it with #ad and also gifted. And also make sure that you've got a contract in place as well before you begin. Set out your terms, make sure everyone is happy with those, and there's deadlines put in place as well. Excuse me. So when you begin to make content with your creator, make sure that your content has a hook. What problem can you solve for your relevant audience? What is the why? Why are you doing the content? Once you've got the audience pulled in, remember to reward their attention by solving their problem for them. It's also a good opportunity to push. We usually recommend kind of 3 non-negotiables via the creator as well. So is it the fact that your product saves time? Does it make things more simple? Is it the fact that the product is, it's easy to use and it's got great reviews? What is that you're trying to push? What are your 3 non-negotiables? And also end with a call to action as well. Now, the call to action doesn't necessarily have to be in the video. It can be the caption, or it also could be like a follow-up piece when someone's commenting on the video. You can follow up with additional video and kind of guiding people through to transaction as well. So how to drive sales on TikTok. So you may be aware of TikTok Shop, you may not be. So what is it? So TikTok Shop enables brands to showcase and sell products for TikTok community to discover and purchase. How does it work? So you essentially have a shop face, and it's accessed via the TikTok Shop Seller Center, and all transactions are facilitated within the app. So you can make purchases in the app. You don't have to leave. It's all completely seamless. TikTok also offers a fulfillment service, so they can essentially send out and package all of your products as well for you and send those out. So it's really quite straightforward to use. We've also looked at looked at 3 native ways to shop as well. So you can use live shopping, so shop directly from a live piece of content by tapping into the pinned products which appear in the bottom left, and there's also a shopping basket icon which you can use as well. You can also have shoppable videos, so shop directly from a shoppable in-feed video by tapping the product again in the basket icon. And you can also do product catalogs. It's a product showcase, which essentially kind of groups all of your products, typically what you see on a website. You can click on the product, it expands and there's further detail about the products as well. And you can also push them through to purchase. So I'm now going to talk to you about community commerce. So WARC and TikTok recently conducted a report to analyse the relationship between community, content and commerce. The report has evolved the term social commerce to community commerce. This concept suggests that community commerce is entertaining, compelling content that just happens to feature brands. It is the creator-driven word-of-mouth marketing that has taken over TikTok platform and really kind of injects that new opportunity into content creation on social that's more authentic to its environment. There's huge potential for brands to engage audiences as they congregate around particular interests, trending hashtags, or creative stories. By infiltrating these communities, brands can offer consumers a genuine value exchange. Community commerce is rapidly evolving. Consumers head to certain social platforms for entertainment and discovery, cultivating a playful and curious mindset that creates powerful space for brand communications. Done correctly, this can really, really drive results. And lastly, I just wanted to show you a couple of examples of brands. So the first one on the left is basically it's actually a local coffee shop in my hometown in Macclesfield, and they've created a huge cult following because of how kind of fabulously camp and unapologetic their social content is. You don't have to be a massive brand to master TikTok. You know, there's real kind of local heroes on there as well. And then Duolingo, they've really kind of made learning fun. On average, they get around like 2.5 million plays on their video, and they've got a really great engagement rate as well. They've really hammered tapping into those kind of cultural relevance moments and doing a really good job of that. So that's it. That's the presentation. Thank you everyone for listening. Is there any questions which anyone has?
So Carly, one of the first ones that's come into me is just, is there any common mistakes that brands make when they're first starting their journey?
I wouldn't say mistakes, no, because we kind of really encourage people to test and learn. So, you know, that you are going to make mistakes. I would say, as long as you're sticking to what we were talking about before and taking that TikTok first approach, making sure that the formats are correct for starters, making sure that you're actually optimizing for what the end user gets on screen, and you're not kind of getting things which are cutting off or bits of you know, things which are native to the platform covering your speech, etc. Just make sure that you're testing things before you start, and it's okay to make mistakes.
Okay. And someone's asked about the sort of, I think you said earlier, there's no penalization from TikTok about volume of content. Mm-hmm. So does that put more pressure on teams to create more, or if they're not creating endless, will they still perform okay in the channel?
I think so. It's kind of different for Instagram, where you are penalized for output. If you kind of just put in 10 posts out a day, your reach is gonna just drop off the planet. But it's okay to do that on TikTok. Like I said before, it's understanding, you know, you don't want to stretch your team too much to the point that you just throwing shit at a wall, to say kind of bluntly. But you want to make sure that it's content that's right for your audience, and it is offering them some value, or it's making them laugh. It needs to make them feel something.
How do we decide if TikTok content is suitable to transfer to another social channel?
Yeah, good question. I'd say it's kind of fits best with Instagram Reels. Just make sure that you take the watermark off there, because you will be penalized on Instagram for posting TikTok content. So it has to not have that TikTok watermark on there. You can also put things on YouTube Shorts as well. It works quite nicely on there as well as Instagram, but it's just looking back at what the other platforms expects and making sure it fits within those guidelines as well.
Okay. Is there a role for TikTok in B2B comms?
Yeah, definitely. We've, I would say there's a role for TikTok in all comms, to be honest. People, there's a whole, if you look at like #LearnTok, people are so fascinated about learning and being educated on that platform more so than anything. So if you find your niche and find out what your audience wants to learn about, I'd definitely kind of go down that route.
Great. So a popular question here, the audience, from Oliver. Do you have advice on how best to use sounds and music? Most of the trending sounds aren't approved for business use, so how to join the trend from a brand perspective there, I think, Oliver.
Yeah, I mean, you have your royalty-free kind of music library. I mean, there is actually a case going through the courts at the moment about a brand who's used like a creator uploaded soundtrack, and the creator is trying to gain kind of value from the brand for doing that. So that's one thing to just be careful of. Just make sure that you know the sources of where you're taking music from. But yeah, it's whatever the library has available, but just make sure that you are checking it out before you kind of run with it.
Okay. And question from Kirsty: can we revive a stagnant TikTok account? Should you start a new account, or should you just keep working at it and sort of revive the algorithm and sort of revive your audience? Or
I think it's kind of going back to what I was saying before about posting regularly. We've noticed, for example, if we've been using TikTok for like a campaign basis and then we've posted again, there is a massive drop in your reach. So it is just getting into the momentum of posting more content again and not being scared to test and learn. Really, if you are finding it stagnant, then you probably just need to step back and look at the data. What's the data telling you? What's worked? What hasn't worked? How do you kind of lean more into data that shows that, you know, what fans are actually interested in.
Great. Sarika, what key things should a brand look for in choosing to work with a TikTok creator partner?
Good question. I think you need to make sure that their audience aligns to your brand. Like, always ask them for a media pack. Don't be worried about asking for that. Ask them what have they done for other brands. Ask them what their average engagement rate is. See how they can actually drive value for you as a brand, and make sure that your values align as well. Look at their other kind of content they've created before, and make sure that's the type of avenue that you'd be kind of looking to explore as a brand as well.
And we often look a bit deeper as well, see what other channels are on, don't we? And just try and check that they've not done anything that would sit against the values of that company on anywhere else. So it's, yeah, there's definitely got to be some digging, hasn't there?
Yeah, and making sure that they're not working with competitors, I'd say, is also a good one. You can also use tools to make sure that their followers are actually real rather than bots. I'd say that's also a good one to check too.
Mia's asked, how many posts per week should you do when starting a new profile, trying to grow?
I would say I'd say probably going towards maybe like 4 posts a week, just so you kind of initially going through that learning phase, aren't you? You're trying to work out what's actually working. I think once you've looked at the data and worked out what isn't and what is working, you can then perhaps maybe lower it down to 3. But it is really finding the right balance for what your team can push out, and also what the audience are actually interested in hearing from you about.
Okay, what are those tools, please? Checking out the creators, marketplace, or other tools? We'll send that in the
I can send links to those.
We send the video.
Yeah, I can send all of those. That's no problem.
Then you've got all those. Hello to a few people who've just joined. We are just in the end with questions, but everything, if you've missed the session, it has all been recorded and will be shared with you afterwards. Joanne's asking, to boost our website's ranking, how does Google point ranking kudos to our website URL? I think Joanne's meaning, will the TikTok help in sort of Google SERPs there?
I wouldn't necessarily say that you'll get link equity that way, but it's definitely ranking. It's all very kind of new, and I would even argue that it's, you know, Google itself is still discovering what it wants to do with TikTok. It's kind of openly said that it's taken away its search from actually taking that away from Google. So I'd say it's one of those which is still very much in the new stages.
Sophie's asking, would you advise payment for TikTok content creators?
Yeah, I think you should pay. To be honest with you, we work both ways. We work via gifting. We also work via paying them as well. But it depends what you actually want them to do. If you wanted them to do like a full video series, you probably will have to pay them for that. You also get better buy-in from them when you're not just gifting them. And it also, I think they've become a lot more savvy, creators have. They know that we sometimes get messages back from them saying, well, you know, gifting is not going to pay for my mortgage. So you've just got to be aware of that when you're kind of approaching them as well.
I think it depends, as always, with influencers and other channels previously. It's about the value you can add as well as a brand. If you're offering someone a trip to Barbados, it's the gifting side of things can be enough or a unique experience as well, that kind of their followers couldn't get themselves as a member of the public, that can sort of help. But it is horse for course, isn't it, in that sense? Is by placing the TikTok link put in the website? So I think, is that Joanne's following up to a earlier question there about the SEO, I think. Yes. To boost our website's ranking, how does Google point ranking? Is it by placing the TikTok link put in the website? I'm not 100% sure what you mean on that one, Joanne, sorry. Salim, we're a lifestyle, glossy mag. We have huge content funnel from our advertisers, car dealers to private schools. Our audience is 35 plus. Is TikTok for us? How would you monetize it? So is the audience right, first of all, or then could they monetize it? Yeah,
definitely. It definitely is right. You'd be surprised. Like, I think people label TikTok as just being for kids doing dances. It's really moved on beyond that. It's the older demographic as well. I'm kind of in that age demographic, and I use it many times a day. And how would we monetize that? Interesting question. I mean, to you selling the magazine. I mean, you might struggle to do that via TikTok Shop. I'm not sure it'd quite work, but you could look at perhaps doing content that pushes through to your website from there, which is building that kind of discovery and that awareness piece, and then pushing people through to your site. But it really depends what's kind of included in the magazine, I'd say.
I think it's more about monetizing that maybe because of the size of your audience and building that into part of your advertising package, that you've got an engaged audience, you know, above average industry rate engagement, that kind of thing, and building up your audience so that becomes part of your media pack there. Joanne's asking, I think, to follow up with the other question, can you send users to a website? So obviously you can in your links and your profile and all that
Yeah,
kind
we
of
can
stuff,
do paid as well. And we've not really touched paid today, but that's probably a whole nother webinar, I would say. But yeah, you can definitely do that.
So it's more like driving referral traffic as opposed to the link just being the sort of SEO signal, which I think was what you're asking earlier on in there as well. Can you explain more about TikTok post ranking in Google? I missed some of that from Julie.
Is this the slide which we talked about?
I think she's just asking generally about TikTok posts ranking in Google and whether they're sort of being read by the spiders and sort of served in SERPs.
Yeah, so we were talking before about how content on TikTok has started to come under video content via Google under the short kind of video category, and it's appearing for non-branded and branded terms relating to TikTok as well. So the example I gave before was around kind of homemade pizza. Video content will appear under there. It's all very new, I would say. It's still something which even kind of marketeers are trying to work out. It's a relatively new field, which we're trying to work out.
Yeah, and Julie just asking again about the shop. Can they send products out? And they can't they? They can offer you a full service from TikTok to fulfillment, can't they?
And you can integrate it with things like Shopify as well. So it can all, if you've got like an ordering system, it'll integrate with your CMS. And then if you choose to do fulfillment via TikTok, they'll do that. They'll literally package things up, they'll store your products and send that out. So yeah, quite an interesting option there.
Any advice for explaining to non-TikTok user managers on why the content isn't meant to be all sales focused, how to get more trend relatable content signed off? That's a classic about all social channels, I think, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I think it's having that strategy on a page. It's been really clear and making sure that you get buy-in from the wider business of what actually TikTok is there for. If you're looking to push sales via other platforms, then, you know, again, you need to have a clear strategy on what you're doing as, you know, as a whole. But yeah, it is a difficult question, which we get all the time, isn't it, really?
Well, you just got to think it back to life. If people are going on social media for entertainment or information, they don't just want to be immediately sold to. You know, it's they've got to be informed, entertained, giving something of value to get them to kind of follow you and engage with you. I think just hitting someone with a sales message straight away just turns a lot of people off. So you got to be building them into your community and sort of being interest before you just immediately sell. It's you know, you don't, if you think about it as a party, you don't just meet someone for the first time, you chat, general chit chat, you don't start, you know, asking them out straight away or whatever. You've got to build that sort of rapport. And it's the same for brands on social, not just on TikTok. It's being finding your voice and things, as Carly says. Okay, John's asking if Google can see everything, should I use my business email address that's on my website, or does that not matter? That's to link to the account. It doesn't matter from a Google perspective which email address you use.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. Just use whichever one.
Thank you, Sarika. Business email address to set up. Yeah, so that's fine. You can set up whichever you want. That doesn't matter from a search perspective.
There's loads of kind of guidelines as well in terms of setting up your shop. We can send links to those, and it'll tell you exactly what you do. You have to upload like your passport and things like that as well. So yeah, it just makes sure that it doesn't have any kind of dodgy sellers on the platform.
Brilliant. Well, I think that times it nicely. We've run slightly over the half hour, but that's because there's been some great questions coming in and just a little bit late getting going and letting everyone in. But thank you so much. You will get the slides. It will be tomorrow. You'll get the video recording and you'll get a feedback form, and let us know what you'd like us to cover next in the next of the summer series webinars. Thank you very much for your time. Go and enjoy your lunch. Thanks, everyone. Bye.